Just an hour's drive from Kabul is Chark district, Afghanistan. As the US and NATO prepares to pull out most of their forces later this year, I traveled here to try to see what life is like in areas of Afghanistan under the rule of the Taliban. After days of negotiations through intermediaries, I was told I would be allowed in with a camera.
I'm actually quite nervous, and the reason is that 5 years ago when I tried to embed with a group of insurgents in Helmand, I was kidnapped and I was held back for a week. I was lucky and managed to escape from them, but still, I don't hope that I will end up in the same situation.
This sort of access is incredibly rare. It's also risky. This is Taliban country. Chark is a cluster of dusty settlements surrounding a small central town. The Taliban of Chark were burying their dead. One of the two Taliban fighters killed in an attack on a local Afghan army base.
A lot of inhabitants from this village in the district of Chark have gathered today. They're here to pay their respect. They're here also to mourn and also show that they are proud.
The dead man's father was amongst the mourners.
شما چرا خلاف حکومت هستید؟
ما خلاف حکومت هستیم، کافر است. در پادوی امریکاست. حالا خلاف هستیم، سطح بارم خلاف هستیم.
شهدا که شهید شدند، شهدا که به خاطر اعلای کلمت الله به شهادت رسیدند، اینها خوشحال هستند بما آتاهم الله و سبب آن چیزی که دادند پروردگارشان برای اینها.
Many of the dead fighters' comrades were there, including 17-year-old Ehsanullah, who also took part in the attack. After the funeral was over, I followed him as he went to meet a friend. I asked him to tell me what motivates young men here to fight for a movement like the Taliban.
کشته شد از شتاوشتوک بود، دو پسر خورد با یک دختر بود. هوان زدن تو سر ولسوالی جنگ بود، بازو هوان زدن خورد در خانه است تا کشته شد. خیلی خورد چه سن حکومت بخی به غور هستن اقتصاد فکرش نمیکنن.
سلام علیکم.
From what I was told, the Taliban in Chark are mostly recruited from the 40,000 people who live in the district.
نه اینجا مولیس ماتر به شما ریخت اینجا گفتم مولیس ماتر شما مگر شما برم قطع ما چاشت که برم
The Taliban are feared across many parts of Afghanistan, especially outside predominantly Pashtun regions. Before they were toppled from power in 2001, and like other groups during Afghanistan's civil war, they committed horrendous massacres against civilians. When they ruled Afghanistan, they imposed an extreme interpretation of Sharia law and provided a safe haven for Osama bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda network to operate from. But in the time that I was in Chark, although it was impossible to know who in these communities supported the Taliban and who didn't, I witnessed what appeared to be, on the surface at least, civilians and Taliban coexisting.
The Taliban recognize that they can only go as far as they want if they have the support of the population. And because they are from the communities in which they're fighting, they rely on the local population to give them shelter, in many cases to give them food, they rely on them for funds sometimes in terms of raising local taxes. And so they need to win the hearts and minds of locals to be able to fight NATO or the Afghan forces.
Over the several days that I spent in Chark, it was obvious that the Taliban here controlled the area. While I was allowed to film openly, most of the time there was a Taliban minder with me, so it was impossible to know how honest the people felt they could be.
مداخله نمیکنند در زندگی شما؟
در زندگی ما نه، اونا کار خود کنم میکنم، ما کار خودم.
Villages in places like Logar are really in a tough spot. They're not likely one to offer, I think, very honest opinions in general when they're on camera, and there is a great deal of intimidation on either side. If you had NATO forces standing there next to them, I think they would also happily say that we're very pleased to have the Westerners here as well.
ما چیز مشکل نداریم که دیگه طالبان عدالتش خوب است، سمیت است، دزدی نیست.
سابق